Hello, everybody. This is the Living Over the Darkness, the Mage venue, and we got a scene with Lena, Eamon, and Claudia. Eamon invited them to his mansion. So, our scene is going to begin with, however, the PC is wishes to arrive. Eamon will immediately state in the text that he can send one of his cousins to take them from wherever they are.
I mean, I'm at the Chantry, so
There is a black car waiting in front of the chantry.
Are you gonna talk in this way the entire scene? Because then
Hey,
I am
hey,
gonna
hey.
end it now.
No, no, don't.
Gods. Okay, so Alina will send back a text saying, I'm under the bridge to Queens, Manhattan side at the moment.
They will arrive at the mansion. The cousin listens a lot of Katy Perry.
I mean, Lena still smells worse than yesterday. She has about the same grocery bags, but there's different stuff in it.
Eamon waits Claudia and Lena in front of his mansion. Like a true and beautiful, pardon, true and a generous host that he is.
okay, then well, at some point we arrive.
Yeah. Sorry. One of the shopping bags that Lena has, most of them have like food. One of them has like a flashlight. You can see a sleeping bag. Yeah, she looks pretty much like she spends like a couple of nights on the streets, which was exactly what she's been doing.
Eamon says, "Welcome. The I am happy that you guys arrived. Should we be on our way to my room to talk about certain things?"
Sure.
Sure.
Eamon leads the way, and Claudia. Lena was here yesterday, so she saw these things yesterday. But the house looks clean. There are no dead bodies around. There are no, human corpses around. There are no zombies around. This house
For
is
now.
for now. There aren't any demons around as far as you can see with your eyes at least. It's
For
just an
now.
old looking place with a bunch of people, bunch of nerdy people playing piano and reading books. They nod with respect as you guys enter the house or go up upstairs. Eamon leads the way and he opens the door of his room. The room is quite big. It is a big study room. There's That's one of those rooms where you pull one book in, there's a secret passage open, but you guys are sure there's a secret passage, but you probably don't know where it is, of course.
Do you want me to roll curiosity for that?
I mean, if you want to, but I don't think you can immediately find it without not spending a lot of time with a one look, but it's up to you.
Nah, it's cool. That's cool.
Uh One of the cousins immediately bring a bunch of food and drinks, coffee, cola, tea, a bunch of chips. And Eamon says, "I'm quite happy that you guys arrived. I hope you guys are hungry because I prepared a lot of. I asked to prepare food."
And Lena's already
Well,
opened a pack of crisps.
You're not hungry, Claudia?
yeah, yeah, I'm normally hungry. I'm just, you know, as she looks around the house, it's been a while, and not the best memory, I guess, of this place.
I try to change it as best as I can, but I also want to keep certain parts. House is a big history, but so do you want to have a bit of a chit chat, or do you want me to immediately bring the subject like you usually do?
I mean, we can do both.
Okay. How are you? It's been a long time since we saw each other because you don't usually leave your room.
Okay, so the thing I understood was, how are you? Because
How are you? We didn't talk. We didn't see each other for a long time because you don't leave your room that much.
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. I've been doing some reading and a bit uh, a bit of research here and there, and as usual, kind of forget uh, that it's been 11 hours straight, and that at some point I need to feed myself.
I mean,
And
that's kind of why you
you,
always have
Wolf?
something to eat with you.
As she she will answer.
uh, Lena will, swallow. That's sort of why you always have something to eat with you.
Yes, always important to have a reserve. You never know.
Uh huh.
Lena,
Burger?
I,
Sure.
Lena, have you shared what happened with Claudia?
No, I've barely been at Chantry. Like, a deal is a deal.
Um, the one that Jack and Sylv also knows where they talk to you. That thing.
Oh, that thing. No.
I just don't want to tell without your permission or your.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. She stuffs another mouthful, like handful of crisps in her mouth.
So Claudia, remember when we tried to save my sister? May she rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't enter the house. The the wards were just too strong.
Yes.
Jack did a deal with the spirits, and we entered.
Mm-hmm.
It seems that was not the case.
Okay.
From what I understand, the Queppelkop has approached Lena, and Lena basically accepted what Queppelkop asked, which, by Lena's admission, it was not a deal. It's basically she just did something, like a drawing a circle or something, and the the awards fall down, fell down, or whatever. Lena admitted this to Jack, and Jack brought it to my and Syl's attention. You were busy, so I wanted to tell you, but I just didn't want to get exploded in your place. So I wanted to leave you alone.
Okay.
So Jack has Jack, Sylv, and I talked, and we basically wanted to reach the people we know about what can be the punishment for this. And Lena herself stated that she does not wish to be punishment, as she thinks she did it. She knows that she did something. She stated that she did something wrong, but she's not going to be. She's not going to accept being branded. So I talked. I think Jack told me that he doesn't know if we are capable of punishing Lena, and he thinks that we should go to traditions about this. I talked to my uncle, and my uncle basically gave me a very unexpected response. He told me that the what Lena did is weird, but the to no disrespect to you, Lena, but my uncle is a bit old-minded, and basically his words is The consorting with those such entities are quite dangerous. The But she is not a member of traditions, and except choristers, no one may not even care for what she did. The As it's actually, like, no one may even care what happened. She may probably not get punished, and this can be handled between Cabal itself. But then I asked him
Hmm.
about the cripple cop and the demon worship or demon deals, and he answered me with a very strange question. He says, "What is a demon?" He said, like, "Yes, I know this answer is a bit quite strange, but what counts as a demon?" What Lena did basically saved my uncle's life. Our family owes her a lot, and I don't think Lena needs to be punished for what she did.
Hmm.
While I was trying to research about the complications of what Lena may have done, because I didn't wanted her to suffer from deals she may or may done without knowing, I have searched certain things, and I have come to bit of a weird outcome that I have shared with Lena, but we agreed that we should share with you and to talk about the possibilities of sharing this with Jack and Sylve. Eamon is just going to roll perception empathy on Claudia because Claudia is too silent for him.
Mm. You dare. You dare try to roll empathy.
I have two.
She doesn't have any opinion. She is currently thinking,
Mm-hmm.
as in she is taking every information that you're giving her because, well, that's how she works.
Mm-hmm.
That whenever she gains new subject or information, she basically goes into computer mode and gather as much data as she can in her head.
So, from what I read, it seems Cripple Cop is a an imp. They're known as a mischievous spirits or entities who tricks people. They aren't that powerful, and their tricks is usually like what merchants do. You know how a merchant sells you a card at upper price than it usually is. They're not pit lords, and a couple of the wording specifically states that they're not evil. But the same wording goes, then asks the question of what is evil? The same book quite profoundly states that the infernalism and demons come from Christian ideas and not from an like not from any set in stone knowledge. Everyone argues about what counts as a demon or devil. So they say that Lena did something bad, but do we even know if Quipplecop counts as a devil or demon or an evil spirit? Eamon turns to Lena and says, I apologize, but I want to also ask that it does if Claudia knows about your as he touches his heart.
Uh, uh, do you?
Oh, the surgery? Yes,
Yes.
I know.
Apparently so.
So that spirit was looking crazy evil. Jack and Lena talked to it. They even made a deal with it. The Quipple Cop looks like an evil spirit. It looks like, comic book imp. What is the difference? The
Hmm.
the spirits, let's say a lion, not a normal lion, when it sees you in the wilderness, it kills you and eats you. We don't call them evil, so why we're calling Quipple Cop evil when we didn't see anything that he does that can be seen as evil? These are the
Hmm.
questions I have.
Well, hmm. Well, first, before I go on a tirade, I need to see a certain detail about my character sheet.
Is she like hates infernalism?
No, no, it has nothing to do with that. She doesn't. She doesn't have that much of an opinion on infernalism. No, I'm looking for languages.
Hmm.
Sorry.
Bless you,
God
Joshua.
bless you. Well, technically, uh, technically, first of all, if we go by definition, the Order of Hermes talk about consorting with undead, the undead, and devils. By definition, devils. Devil comes from, well, technically Diofol, Diofol, which is a derivative from diabolus in Latin and diabolos in Greek, who actually goes regarding slander. However, the definition that you could give to devil is a personification of evil,
What is evil?
and well, that's the problem of a definition of evil, but you can say hostile and destructive forces. However, by going by this definition, technically you could say that a storm, a spirit of storm, could be destructive and hostile to anything. But evil has to either manifest as a solid definition in which it would be the things that we, the interpreter, sees as opposite to our value to a point where we agree that this is detrimental for the greater good and to mankind itself. You will
They're not
have
a
this
threat
definition.
to mankind. They're not threat to mankind.
Give me a second. They don't have to be a threat to mankind. You have you could also have the definition of evil as a more cosmic force, a negative force, whereas life can be seen as positive, and the opposite of life, destruction and complete annihilation of the very concept of life, the void, you could call that evil.
Whenever a demon does something weird in history, it's because someone summoned them, not because they just went out their way to do something.
Well, to be fair, if they have the power to do so, generally you tend to use those powers.
I would like to say if doing a deal with this entity is evil, then throwing fireballs are also evil. So I am also destructive as I throw fireballs. I have killed people before. So I am, by definition, also destructive and evil. So I must be a demon then.
Depends on the definition and the interpretation.
The I think dismissing Kweppelkop out of hand by simply looks is ignorance, and I don't want our cabal to be viewed. Or pardon, I don't want our cabal to be dictated by ignorant views.
Well, here is a fact. The definition we can use for maybe not devils, but demons are fallen. Fallen angels that rebelled, and with Lucifer, Beelzebubs, Satan, Mephistopheles, and other demons and greater devils actively fight against God, which is going to be most certainly the definition that people will go with for what define devil and what define a demon. This is
We're
what
not
Jack used.
we're not people though. We're mages. There's a huge difference between us and people. The demons,
Do
pardon,
you
demons.
think so?
Yes,
Do you really think so?
I really think so.
Do you
We
really think that Jack, Sylve, who base their belief on religion, are that different from people in their core system of belief?
it is basically putting a blind side to your eye. They're
It
not.
doesn't matter. It doesn't
You're
matter,
right.
Eamon.
You're right, but we shouldn't let our basically beliefs dictated by this view that we don't even know if it's true or not. What we will start with this, and what is going to happen when they start saying, "Well, my God tells me you guys need to fucking, do a cross every time you cast a spell. If you don't do, the God hates you. Then what's going to happen then? What's going to happen if
Yeah.
we
I mean, Eamon, to be fair, we all know what's happened. That's called a crusade.
Yeah, and I don't want a crusade in our cabal. I want an understanding. I want us to know things. If Quipplecop
Hmm.
is evil and a demon, so does the same spirit that we made a deal all together for Lena's hearth. So we are all evil and destructive.
Hmm.
There is no, I don't believe there is something that borns evil. And even if such, Quipplecop has stated that he is basically trying to help us um, by saying that he doesn't like how we treated. What is better, to be born good or to overcome your evil nature through great effort?
Here's the thing. Why does Quibble Cop wants to help us? Because the master that he serves, who has passed a contract with him, is not up to his pleasing. Either because he doesn't respect the contract as it was more or less suggested, or it's a more fundamental disagreement. Nevertheless, I think that we would be fools to think that he wants to help us because he's nice. He
I
wants
don't.
freedom. He wants freedom from his master. That's what he wants. That's his drive. It's a goal that is easily understandable wherever someone is evil or good. That's a good basis for an analysis of character.
I think that the it really doesn't matter what he wants as long as what he wants is not going against us.
Well, here's the thing: when we will get rid of your grandfather and he dies, if we manage that exploit, considering that he probably have a sleeve or two to stop himself from dying, Quickball Cop will be freed from his chains. That means two things. Either he is a neutral force, which means that he only really cares about himself and his needs. Therefore, he will go back to his plane of existence because he has no attached to this world and will go back to where it belongs, and the affair will be dealt with. Or he will be free and he's not really just an imp, and he's a bit more than an imp.
The
And
there's a one thing I want to tell you because this may change your mind, Claudia. Lena,
Yeah.
remember when Jack said she and Sylv basically went to this weird place? The cops came after them. Cops killed a person who was talking shit, and the cops were basically coming after Jack and Sylv. Cripple Cop took the body of the cop and shoot himself or each other, the cops, something like that. Why would Cripple Cop do that? It
well,
can't.
The moment we
he
have the common goals.
Yeah,
exactly.
and
We have a common goal because he needs us. He needs us
we don't
to
know
get rid
why
of his
he needs
master.
that. No, we don't know if he's the master or not.
What do
It's a
you mean? If you're a grand,
yes. We
I
don't
thought
know
it
if
was
it's
pretty
grandfather.
clear.
No, he's a trickster spirit. We can't believe everything he says. It's a possibility, yes, but it's not what it says. Part it's not. It doesn't mean it's 100% true. I'm saying we can't trust Cripple Cop, but I also say it's not evil as everything is. I don't think we should dismiss Cripple Cop as innately evil demon. Bye bye, fuck you, die. But I also say we can't trust Cripple Cop because its nature is basically tricking and deceiving things. But there can be again probably done a deal with Cripple Cop. But that deal is going to piss off Jack and Sylv.
Have
I
you talked with the Order
no,
about this prospect?
no.
Then I'm gonna ask the obvious question: why?
It's because that firstly I don't want them to think or know what I do in my free time. Every research is close to someone. I don't need to share this information. This is basically my family matter and my cabal's matter. Secondly, I have actually talked with someone from the order, which is my uncle. He stated we can't know what Kupa Cop is because he's not sure if it's a demon or not. Because again, what is demon or devil? According to Christians, devil is one entity who rules hell. When the Hermetic code says do not consort with devil, which devil it talks about? The devil who rules hell, or the devil in the ND, the horned one?
Every civilization has a definition of devil.
No, every civilization has a version of devil, not a version. Pardon, not a. They have a version of devil, not an explanation of devil. Even the Quran and the Bible is quite broad about what devil is. We can't know for certain. I just he actually pulls a Quran in a Bible. Quran was boring, but the so does the Bible. Actually, I just like certain parts of Quran better.
So here's the thing. I care I care about knowledge as anyone should. Problem is that you have way too many variables to actually make a statement that can be made decisive for this debate that is theological in nature, because that's what you ask. What is the definition of evil? What is the definition of the devil? What constitutes a demon? Now, I agree that to each mage their research, to each mage their research, and that the rule of the order is that, well, if you do something, don't get caught, or you better have a full mastery of what you're doing, because otherwise you're gonna get flambeaued to the face. But we at least have to agree that even if the definition of what constitutes evil actually still exists, it doesn't matter that we have different definitions. They are traits. They are traits, description based based on human morality, which can then be argued, whereas the mage should follow a form of ethic, but generally evil is opposed to the ethic followed by the group, be there mages, a civilization, or a religion. That's generally the definition of the devil, even if that definition is mostly Judeo Christian. That tends to be the most practiced paradigm for this definition. That's why more time than one I refer to it, because, again, if we're going to have a conversation regarding the definition of evil, regarding the debate, for example, whereas, I don't know, a spirit that looks like a ragged corpse from Indian legends wouldn't constitute an evil entity itself. But if we want to have this debate, if you want to have this discussion regarding whether or not Quibblecop is evil, you're going to have to take into account the broad definition that Sylv and Jack are going to use against you in this conversation. Otherwise, this is going to be very difficult to talk to. Or at least you're going to face a wall. You're going to face a wall of incomprehension.
Lena and I had talked yesterday, and we agreed that we wish to learn more about the nature of Kupalkop. Not by talking to it yet, but we want to learn more. We want to understand what it is, and we don't want to dismiss the option of it's just a demon. It should be fucked off because we don't know if it's a demon or not. We can't know it yet. I Lena was basically treated badly for the decisions she made in her life. Like she is, as you know, she doesn't work in a government job. She is basically she's a thief. She does steal from others, and I know that Lena is quite proud of being a thief. Eamon looks at Lena for approval.
Yeah, she nods since her mouth is still stuffed.
Hmm. So, I personally believe that if we are going to be pushed the morality of Jack and Sylve, we shouldn't stand divisive anymore. Because certainly I know that you don't care that much about the morality. We talked about this in the past. You care about your own goals. No, there is a morality into you as there's a morality to everyone, but I don't think it is the same with Jack and Sylve. And I am getting a bit weirded out by being pushed their morality to my throat.
Well, to be precise regarding my personal morality, my personal code is um, everything that has to do with the Umbra and spirits should fuck off. That's my personal belief. So I will be extremely broad to say that as much as it is an interesting subject to study, I really don't care about the debate regarding or not, um, whereas it's an angel or it's a devil. That's that's a Kavadi and a messianic voices debate that I have no care whatsoever in talking because I don't intend to deal with those. Now, regarding what we know, I have to agree. I have to agree on a principle that we need to know exactly what Cobalt Cop is because he interfered in our life. Well, interfered in our life quite often. He has appeared to be linked for now to your family, or at least to the thread of fate surrounding your family with your grandfather and your uncle. So at the moment, we have no idea if he is controlled by, as it is my personal theory, by your grandfather, and that he wants to get free of his contract by using mages to hunt down his master. Because that way, if the master is killed, he is free, which I believe is his ultimate goal. Now, I don't personally think that we should make deal with Cop. Not unless we have a tank,
That is a tank.
preferably a Sherman with its cannon, shoved down his ass to tell him that's how it works and there's no trick. Because as you said, he is a trickster. He's a trickster. He's an imp. He is a leprechaun. Whatever definition would give to such mischieving spirit of misdirection. We cannot trust it. We cannot trust it. We cannot pass contract with it unless we know his name, we know his true name, we know how he works, and we know exactly how we're dealing with. Then again, other problem. Other problem if we have to make deals with everything. At the moment, what Lina did, I believe, is not inherently evil because it helped us. The question that needs to be asked is, did the price that she paid doesn't come with more baggage that we know? I think that's something we need to have control over, because if we falsely believe that passing small contracts without consequences towards him, then I believe that's the moment where we will make a mistake
Lena
at
stated
some
that she
point.
didn't agree anything. You
What
know,
did you say, Mush?
Lena stated that
Mhm.
she did not agree with anything other than opening the door.
Yes, I'm asking. The question that I'm asking is, does he need does he need consensual bargaining to make things happen on his end? That's what I mean. Lena didn't promise anything, and that's good because at least the oral contract is non-existent. What I'm asking is, are we sure that there is no hidden string? Meaning that, if we think that, oh, we can cash in 3 wishes, and in the end there's you know the hidden little asterisk that says, hey, by the way, there is still a price to pay at the end. That's what I'm saying when I say we need to understand all the information that we can on him.
I
In the
can,
circumstances that we had, we didn't really had much of a choice if we wanted to enter. So in this instance, I think that Lena made the right decision that no one wanted to make. And I think that she shouldn't be punished for basically making the choice that, to be fair, I am pretty sure, considering the circumstances, you might have made it also the choice, considering the circumstances you were in at this very instance, which I might be wrong. But
Eamon takes a deep breath and he says, I am not going to think about it because I don't know the question or the answer. I don't know the answer. But I would like to state one thing. Do you think Lena should be punished for what she did? My vote is no.
as she she rubbed her temples. Let me guess. Lena doesn't have a word to say in this matter.
I have no idea. I don't know how judgment is going to be. But I am simply going to ask, and I want you to support me in this, that we basically acknowledge that Lena believes that she made a mistake based on the knowledge that Jack told her that all cripple cop is innately evil and he should not be consorted with. I disagree. That we can't know if cripple cop is innately evil or not. I deny the existence of innately evil. I personally believe that the what Lena did saved my uncle's life, and it's for a good action what she did. There seems to be no agreement for owning Lena's soul or anything like that. So I don't see any problem. And if she thinks she made a mistake and she is not going to summon any demons anytime soon, like summon any deep pit lords anytime soon, which she says she won't, what's the problem? Why involve traditions to make Lena seem like a bad person? Because in the future she will probably enter those traditions. There's no need to involve traditions or their judgment because she's not a member of a tradition. And if you tell them what Lena did, she will be seen as a bad person or, a black sheep. It's going to affect her future. And I'd rather my friend's future was not affected when she's entering to a tradition as she is about to make a big life decision by entering a tradition.
Well, I'm pretty sure that we have two voices against your choices, at least. As to be fair, even if Sylve is less extreme than Jack, I don't really see her disagreeing on principle regarding at least the fact that we shouldn't make deals with Kubukop.
The Kupakov situation is quite different than the punishment of Lena. In the case of, we just simply shouldn't punish her, Lena, because she didn't do anything wrong.
I
At least to me.
sort of have to disagree on this because it is inevitably linked to Quibblecop nature, because one would say, knowing the nature of Quibblecop, we'll at least know on which ground we would stand on this matter.
The Kupakov
Because
situation
that's kind
shaped.
of what we've been debating in circle here for a good 15, 20 minutes. What is the nature of Quibblecop? What is the nature of evil? Etc. etc. That's kind of at the center of everything. Now, did Lena knowingly consorted with a creature from another plane? Yes,
Just like
because
characters does all the time.
will you let me finish?
Sorry.
Thank you. So, she consorted with an entity from another plane of existence, which she does because she is a mage who have access to the spirit sphere, just like Jack does. Now, did she had evil intentions and wanted to do evil by passing a, well, I wouldn't call it a deal, but calling for help from, asking for help from this entity? No, she did it to, she asked it to fight a person that has been known to be an infernalist. So in this instance, I would say that's using something potentially bad to do some good, which which at the moment I will go by the mathematical logic, which says that minus and minus equal plus. So not really, not really a bad thing. So personally, I don't think considering those circumstances, considering those circumstances, I don't think that Lena should be punished. However, however, there should be a discussion regarding the nature of Kubukop, what we consider evil, what we consider acceptable things, and what constitute a contract or consorting with devils and the undead, and not angering the Fae and others. But unless I think what it means more than anything is that we don't know what we're dealing with, and in order to make the right decisions as to whether or not deal with this creature like she would deal or Jack would deal with and she put air quote, with a normal spirit, an acceptable spirit, we need to understand. I think that's mostly what it translates to We don't know what we're doing in this instance. And for now, there has been no bad repercussion for the action. So I would advise caution, even seeking higher people of knowledge to actually help us in this endeavor. But outside of advising caution, I don't think she should be punished on principle if it's simply she wanted to help us to get rid of a greater evil. We might disagree with Jack on whether or not that makes. I don't think Jack thinks that makes Lena a bad person. I think he means that that the decision that she took, no matter what the result, in his view of what constitute good and what constitute bad, will be bad. But we also have to look at everything from every angle possible, and we can't shut every door. There are risks that people are willing to take, and I'm pretty sure that Kavadi, and others have in the past consulted with creature of dubious pedigree, but in those instances, I'm not a fucking judge. I'm not a judge. I'm not a quasitor. That's their job, not mine. I can already feel my headache for when we're gonna have to have this debate.
It needs to be done because I don't want Lena to be just remain in a bubble, talking about traditions.
Look, in the end, it doesn't really matter because we can think about this whatever the fuck we want, but Jack and Sylph are not going to agree with this. In the end, if we keep you guys, because I don't really count in this matter, but if you guys keep your foot down, ultimately Jack's going to do the same thing. He's going to make an ultimatum, me or him. That's what's going to happen because it happened before, and then it worked. So why would he change that tactic?
Because this time I am not going to see his ultimatum. I am not going to
Then he's
be.
going to leave.
That is his
I
choice.
I'm willing to bet on it.
Lena, I like Jack in the grounds of we saved each other lives countless times, and I think we've repeated this many times. But I am not willing to be led by an ignorance. I want to be led by the proper knowledge. If he s- basically makes a comment about Cripple Cop and says it's evil because it looks like an imp who I heard in a Christian book that's written by a guy who was nailed into a cross. Not written, but who's stated by a guy who's nailed to a cross by Romans. I am sorry, I do not agree.
All I'm saying is that ultimately you let Jack walk out. You know Sylph will follow him because she's basically like his glue or something. I don't know. It's not going to be a good thing. It's not going to be a good thing for this group. That doesn't. I'm not even saying that because I think he's better than me, though he is stronger. But losing two people versus one person, it's just simple math.
We're going to lose each other even if we lose you when it comes to that point because I am I owe a lot to Jack and Sil. I say this many times, but I don't want their belief to dictate what I do and what I want to do. And even if you are, let's say we were all kicked from the chantry, you're all welcome here anytime. This will be a lore house. If such thing comes to pass, and we will find a node for ourselves. If
So
agree.
I'm going to um, I'm going to say something. If you want to have this debate, because it's going to happen, I strongly advise you to have a definition of evil by the time we have this debate. Because let's be real, if there is if there is a phrase in the hermetic code that say don't consort with devils, that means there's a reason for it. So I'm just saying, if we're doing this and in the end the order decide to fuck with us, um, it's gonna be bad juju for everybody.
I have a definition of evil. It's a concept, perspective upon everyone that changes upon eye to eye. If what you see in front of you is a nerd who's a bookworm who reads books, when people looks at me, they don't see a killer, but that's what I am. I killed people in the justification of finding killers of my parents. I killed 7 people with a fireball. I killed a woman without because I wanted to. So did Jack. If there's evil in this world, if you're going to hell, we're already there. So therefore, I don't think there's evil. I think actions, and it's how people does those actions. Some people likes to kill humans because human body has bunch of quintessence. A life is an energy that a mage can use, and some people needs to achieve things with magic, so use human they use human bodies, alive human bodies. Urbana does. Hermetics did. Probably even the shamans did. We all know the rumors about shamans killing people for things and power. The Lena's vampire friend, that guy, was nice to Lena. It was innately evil because it was a vampire, so he died. By definition, this is murder. And the guy being a vampire is just a detail. Now, I don't care about vampires. I rather they just simply don't exist. But they do, and there's nothing I can do about it. But as I said, we are a gang of Scooby Doo who's running around ignoring rules, telling people that we are from CIA. If Jack and Sil are very human, maybe they should try to live like humans and the laws that humans follow. How many times Sil broken the barriers of humanity by watching someone with correspondence? Where is her God when she does this? And Eamon is actually waiting for a response. He stops and like he's very serious. He's waiting for a response. Tell me if I sound mad or wrong.
Hmm.
Lena,
Ultimately, it's not us that considers it wrong or not, it's her. Like, you don't need our answer, you need hers.
no, I need your
So it
answers
doesn't
as
matter.
well because I don't know Claudia's answer. I know your answer, Lena, but I don't know Claudia's answer. Because when I killed the person who basically ordered a hit on my parents, Lena just walked it off. I did a terrible thing. I killed a human being. It was it was a human excuse of a being, but it was a human being. I ended her life. probably maybe she has a cousin somewhere who's dependent on her, but I didn't care. So I am asking you, what is evil? And if evil is going against laws of Christianity or the human laws, then we're all fucking evil.
Honestly, I don't really define myself on Judeo-Christian beliefs. I would say that if you intend to kill someone, then there's only you can stop yourself from doing so. And on that, well, you have to accept the consequences of your actions.
Claudia,
You,
if someone tries to kill Lena out of nowhere, just someone pulls a gun and tries to shoot her, would you kill that person? Would you try to
I've
stop
killed
that
people.
person?
I've killed people before. I wouldn't necessarily kill him, depending on the situation and what I believe at the moment. I know that I will, however, if I choose to kill him, I will have to accept the consequences of it, because that's what being human is supposed to be, or even a mage to accept the consequences of your actions and of the choices that you make. Having principles is important. Sticking to your principles is also something respectable. But at some point, you also have to confront your principles to others. You cannot live eternally in a bubble, in a vacuum, talking to yourself. Or technically, I guess you can. You just need to find a tower and live in that tower and throw fireball at peasants. But mm, I like rules because it makes sense. But the fun thing about life and about even alchemy is that no matter how much you can try to bend rules, there are things that are unexpected. That's what life is about. Life is about the unexpected. And, well, if you're not willing to observe, understand, and adapt your formula, then at some point you're gonna be left behind, or, well, you're gonna go mad. However, I want it to be clear that um, regarding undead, uh, I still think undead is not okay.
I don't think that the undead is okay. I don't think that the necromancy is okay. But I know that there was a master in Whistle Stop that Sylvan Jack recently talked that brought us a teeth that they put in our mouths. That master has a bunch of human skulls in front of his cave or her cave. I didn't met the master. So I guess it's okay when it's a master.
It's a never endless debate that I believe exists since the beginning of time. Um, but yeah, genuinely, genuinely, I will reiterate that I I I I don't believe in equal relationships when it comes to spirits. I don't believe it. I can see and I can agree that yes, probably I don't know a, a dove spirit might be cool. Yeah, it's might be nice, but I'm just gonna say and so, sorry sorry to bring back that memory, but when when rat spirits wants to make dinner out of me, um I'm gonna have a tendency to classify that as evil from my perspective because I'm primarily concerned with my survival. Even
Oh,
if
damn.
I know that technically rats, spirits, and rats act like rats, they follow their instincts, but still I'm gonna classify that as yucky. But to be fair, I think the only one that can make Jack more or less bend, and I'm putting an emphasis on more or less and more on the less, is going to be Syl. That's technically that's technically the only one that could do something. Because, well, to be perfectly honest, I tend to, well, we're going in circle anyway. But yeah, I do tend to have a problem with a morality based on a church that thought for a good chunk that burning people on a stake uh, was a good thing.
At least I'm happy you will vote for not punishing Lena.
Well, as as long as Lena doesn't go to a satanic church and then starts to talk about summoning Baphomet because he seems like a cool dude, I think that's okay.
I mean, she is already in a satanic church.
You are?
All the time.
Absolutely.
I mean, I say Quipple Cop may not be evil, so I must be an infernalist. My soul is damned.
Honestly, however, I think also that might be an interesting point of debate and research because you
Souls?
said the word you used, infernalist, because that's generally the word that is used to talk about evil mages, or the one that consorts with devil. Infernal. So
According
that you know there could be an interesting question uh, to ask a an older hermetic. What is the difference between a demonologist and an infernalist? Because studying the devils does not necessarily means passing contracts with them and selling your eternal souls to damnation and promising to hellbend earth and sacrifice virgins. So I think I think at least you might have a start of an answer, but there is a reason that we don't say, oh, every demonologist or every satanic youngster who thinks it's cool and edgy is an infernalist. I think there's a reason why the term infernal is used rather than demon. I think there is a concept behind that, something more dark and sinister than the study of forces that, well, are not. Uh, I'm not going to use good. I'm going to say well intentioned or that play fair and square. I think there's a core difference, and that's why you use that term instead of the other.
You know, the spirits that the we have seen Jack deal, the fire, trees, I don't know, bunch of other stuff, the dows, and maybe Lena's rats. I never seen one of them help any human being without getting what they want.
Mm,
Also, I know for a fact that they usually ask things that is not in the benefit of humans, but the nature. Humans, by nature, are destroying nature. So I'm not 100% certain, but if spirits get what they want, I think the world would just be without humans.
mm,
But I don't want to bore Lena more because I think she's quite bored.
Hmm? No, no, no. I'm cool. Carry on.
Uh, Maybe this
you
can be a
sound
topic for
extremely
another day.
convincing.
Exactly, Lena. You sound extremely convincing.
Uh, shit. Well, I'll work on my lying skills then. Unless that's, of course, not right with certain, ideologies. Ideal. Well, ideals.
Eamon pulls his phone.
Unless, of course, it's like a sacred. Never mind. I'm being salty.
Eamon pulls his phone and lying in Christianity. Lying. What does Bible say about lying? It seems the just as dislike when someone lies to you, so does the Lord. In fact, he is incapable of lying. It is impossible for God to lie. This is Hebrew 6:18. If God is not incapable of lying, how does he create a liar?
He doesn't. The devil does.
I mean, wasn't devil was created by God?
Mm,
Because that's what the Muslims Quran says.
Technically, the Luciferian figure is in the Old Testament. In the Old Testament, the devil or Satan is a companion to God who actually works for him in the Old Testament. Then you have the second version with the myth of Lucifer, and then you have the Babylonian, the Mesopotamian gods, the and a lot of other gods that are thrown into the devil category because, well, they're not they're not God, they're bad gods.
I think God was a mage. And the world is his cult.
Uh, mm, mm, I'm good. Mm, no, I'm going to have to disagree here.
I think we should watch Netflix. Lena loves Netflix. She loves to sleep on the couch.
Wow, thanks, dude.
I mean, you sleep on the couch. I'm not talking shit. I think you like the couch, and you can sleep there anytime you want, or in one of the guest rooms.
I mean, in a week.
Yes, that's true. In a week, I think it's like now 4 days.
I mean, 4 nights. Yes. Still want to
Alrighty.
go after whatever killed my red. Yo, just saying.
Well, I'm fine with watching something, eating some and eating some ice cream. I'm fine with that.
Okay. Should we end the scene there then, guys?
Yeah, cool.
Oh.
Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, guys, for watching. See you next time.